الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with our deen, and one of the most unique things about our deen is the fact that we have the original sources intact. Meaning you can pick up the same verses that were revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you can actually recite them yourself exactly as they were revealed to him. And there's no other way towards Allah that offers the same preservation of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now for us we have two essential sources. Rather, we have three. Number one is the Quran, number two is the Hadith, and number three is the interpretation of the Quran and the Hadith. And actually all of that has been preserved. The Quran was preserved very early on in the history of Islam. Once the Quran was solidified and preserved in its actual form, then the ulama began to preserve the Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Once they preserved the Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, at the same time they began preserving the opinions of the scholars concerning issues within the Quran and within the Hadith. So those essentially form the three aspects of our deen. People call qiyas as being one of the sources of the deen, ijtihad as being one of the sources of the deen. Both of those actually come under the ruling of the scholars. So that it's the scholars who do qiyas, not the common people. And it's the scholars who do ijtihad, not the common people. So essentially you have the Quran, the Hadith, and the ijtihad. The rulings of the scholars, the understanding of the scholars. Now, what's interesting is that when we study Hadith, if you just pick up on Hadith, and each of these branches of knowledge has their own special place and has their own special aspects to them. But when you study Hadith, one of the things that comes up in the discussion of Hadith is that there are certain categories of Hadith. So for example, there are Hadith that are Sahih, there are Hadith that are Da'if, there are Hadith. Some hadith are special because they relate to exact words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We call them hadith qudsi. There are other hadith which are amali. Amali means that you get aspects of some action that's also related. For example, one time the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sitting with his companions, and he was explaining to them the number of days that exist in the Islamic month. So even if you just think about that, that's so interesting. The Prophet would be sitting with his companions and would be discussing the number of days that exist in the month. Anyway, he was sitting with them, he was discussing the number of days that existed in the Islamic month, and he said that the number of days within the month are hakaza, 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 and he took away one finger. So he said 10, 10, and then 29. Oh, hakaza, hakaza, hakaza. And he said 30 fingers. So in that hadith, when the ulama, even to this day, even my teachers, when they transmit that hadith, they say that this is a dual hadith. They stop at that point when they translate this hadith. And they say this is a very special hadith because it's considered a dual hadith. Dual hadith means that it has words, and those words are transmitted, and in the same way it has an action. And the same way that you just saw me do this is the same way that my teacher did this, and the same way that my teacher's teacher did that, same way that all the way back to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So they would explain to us that not only are we transmitting to you these words that existed in the hadith, but we are also transmitting to you the action that was transmitted by our teachers. So that's called a fi'li hadith, a hadith in which action is actually transmitted. Then there's another type of hadith that's very unique, and that's hadith that transmits the words of other prophets. Right? So there are some hadith in which the Prophet said, Isa alayhi salam said, or Yahya alayhi salam said. So for example, one of those hadith, and it's a very, very beautiful hadith. I talked about it last night a bit for those who were present at the tafsir, but it's a very unique hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam relates to us that one time, Isa alayhi salam, on one occasion Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Yahya alayhi salam to do 5 things. And then he commanded Yahya alayhi salam to tell Bani Israel to do those 5 things. Now Yahya alayhi salam was the son of Zakaria. And Yahya alayhi salam, when he was commanded, he started doing those things. But he was somewhat late in commanding Bani Israel to do those things. So when he didn't command Bani Israel to do those things, Isa alayhi salam, who was alive at that time with him, went to him and he said, what are you doing? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded you to do 5 things, and He commanded you to tell Bani Israel to do those 5 things. I have not yet seen you tell Bani Israel. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. Then Yahya alayhi salam said, no. If you do that, then Allah will punish me, or He'll cause the earth to swallow me up. Meaning, if you were to surpass me and to fulfill something that Allah had originally commanded on me, then I fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will either punish me immediately, or He will cause the earth to just swallow me up right there. So even that much of the hadith teaches you that when something is a sign, and our teachers used to say this, if something is a sign to you, you should be very serious about doing it. Meaning if you're in the presence of some dini thing at a time, so like for example, when we were studying in school, if the teacher said, I need you to go and do such and such and so and so, and you had the opportunity to do it, if you didn't do it, then that brings in the azab of Allah upon you. It removes the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from you. Now the reason why Yahya alayhi salam was so worried that if Isa alayhi salam did this, that he would be in trouble, is because if Isa alayhi salam did it, it meant that there was enough time for it to be done. Right? So that excuse would have disappeared, that it wasn't possible to do it. So that's why Yahya alayhi salam became very fearful when Isa alayhi salam said that to him. So anyway, Yahya alayhi salam, then he was under double pressure. One, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had commanded him. 2, Isa alayhi salam has now warned him that if you don't say it, I'm going to say it. So he called all of the Bani Israel together. What's beautiful is that in this hadith, this is actually related. These words are actually related between you have the words of Isa alayhi salam in the hadith. You have Yahya alayhi salam responding to Isa alayhi salam in the hadith. So finally Yahya alayhi salam, he admits. And he says to all of Bani Israel, I need you to all come to the masjid at such and such a time. So he appoints a time, he calls everyone to the masjid. Now that's also a unique thing. If you just close your eyes and you imagine, he called all of the Bani Israel that they should come to Bayt al-Muqaddas. They all began coming. And they say that he waited until the masjid became full. In fact, in the hadith it says that the masjid became full. The whole masjid became full. And then he got up on the balcony of the masjid, which was sort of in front of everyone. And he stood up and he said, Inna Allah amarani bi khamsi kalimatin. Verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded me with 5 things. An a'malu bihinna, that I do these 5 things, wa amurani an I don't know the exact word. Anyway, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He commanded me to do these 5 things, and He also commanded me that I should tell you to do these 5 things. So then he began saying, the very first of these is that you should worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and not associate any partners with Him. That was the first thing that he said. Now what's unique about that is you think about the circumstance. It's Bani Israel, and 2 prophets are in the presence. Right there. Isa alayhi salam and Yahya alayhi salam, and He's commanding them to not associate any partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that brings up an important point, and that is that the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is continually reminded for 2 reasons. 1, because in the future, it needs to be established that this was what the prophets laid down as the law. Right? So later on, how many generations later are we reading this hadith and we're learning the fact that this is what Yahya alayhi salam commanded to all the people, Bani Israel. And the second is because, in essence, even though all of us establish tawheed, within our own lives we have some degree of shirk. Some people, they give their jobs equal importance to the command of Allah. Some people give their families equal importance to the command of Allah. Some people give their investments equal importance to the command of Allah. But in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far superior to any of that. And to Him belongs the worship alone, to Him belongs the mission alone. So anyway, that was the first thing that He established. The example that He gave, he said that his proof was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you and He nurtured you, and so therefore you should worship Him alone. Then He said the second thing that he was commanded to do, and what He commanded the Bani Israel to do, was to pray the Salah. And when He spoke about the Salah, He said a very beautiful thing. He said, verily you should know, when He's telling these people, Bani Israel, this is by the way, he said, verily you should know that when you turn your face to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns his face to you. And he didn't even use the word turn, he said sit. The word he used sit. When you turn your face towards Allah, Allah establishes his face towards you. And so long as you are focused on Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is focused on you. So that highlights a very beautiful aspect of salah. And in fact, he reminded them in that hadith that you should not turn your face back and forth when you pray. Meaning your focus should be on Allah. Anytime you focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He focuses on you. That's part of the, for example, the muraqabah that we do, the zikr that we do in such a gathering. The whole purpose is to focus our attention towards Allah. Right? And any time you focus your attention towards Allah, the general principle is that it's part of this law of nature, right? The same way, if I take something and I throw it up, it's going to come back down, right? There's all these various laws that people have established in physics. There's laws of Islam as well. And one of the essential laws of this being, anytime any human being turns their face towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns his face towards them. Meaning the face of his mercy, the face of tawfiq, etc. Then he commanded them to do the fast. And he said that verily the example of fasting is like the person who takes mist and puts it, wraps it up, that comes in the company of a group of people. Not only does he benefit, but everyone in that group of people benefits. Even though they don't have, they're not carrying that mist, right? The whole group of people benefit from that mist. And then he said, verily, that the smell of mist is greater to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the smell of the fasting person's breath is greater to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than mist. So one, the fasting person benefits himself. But it's concealed. Right? Just like if you brought mist in a room but you concealed it, no one can see it. No one can tell when they look at another person that they're fasting. So that fasting is actually concealed. But the benefit of that fasting is not concealed. The whole community benefits. That man benefits or that sister benefits, and then the whole community gets the benefit of that further. Now we, unfortunately, have gotten so, our minds are so convoluted that we can't tell that benefit. But actually exists, it's present within the whole community. Everyone benefits when there's a fast amongst us. And this was something that was established by the Prophet as a habit, and it was established on Mondays and Thursdays, or in the first 3 days, and the last 3 days, and the middle 3 days of the month, which you regularly find in hadith about fasting. Very common within the collection of hadith. So that was the third thing that he commanded them. Then the fourth thing that he commanded them was that they should give sadaqah. He gave a very beautiful example when he spoke of sadaqah. He said, imagine that you are captured by the enemy. And when you're captured by the enemy, they drag you by your neck in front of the whole army, and they're about to kill you. And when they're about to kill you, you start saying, if I give you such and such and so and so, will you free me? If I give you such and such and so and so, will you free me? If I give you this, will you free me? If I give you that, will you free me? Eventually you offer them big and small. Literally, the hadith says big and small. You keep offering them big and small until they decide that it's enough for them to free you. And he said, our example is the exact same way. Literally, our example is the exact same way. We will stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as criminals. There's no other way around it. Every one of us will. Those things that we thought we could hide, eventually from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those will be revealed on that day. And everyone will be raised in shackles. Now then the question will be whether those shackles will be removed or not. But first we'll be raised in shackles, and then we'll have to answer for the responsibilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon us. Now, when we're standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we won't be able to offer anything, right? Except we'll be able to say, Ya Allah, I give such and such and so and so, will you please free me? Ya Allah, that one day when that brother needed $50, I gave it to him, will you please free me? Ya Allah, when I received that invitation to give money to your masjid, I gave it on that day, will you please free me? And you'll be quoting all these things. Ya Allah, that day when there wasn't enough money for dinner, I gave money for all the brothers to you. Please free me. One by one, you'll be listing all these things and trying to convince Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to free you. Now, if you never give sadaqah, what are you going to get for one day I gave up $1 when the box went on the rest of the week, please free me, and then you'll be quiet. Right? Because there'll be nothing else to be able to say. Shackle upon shackle will be holding our arms and feet down, our necks will be weighed down with these heavy shackles, and you have nothing to offer. What will you say? So you should actually literally, when someone gives you the opportunity for sadaqah, you should close your eyes And you should do muraqabah. This is a type of muraqabah as well. You should close your eyes and do muraqabah. On that day, what am I going to do? Imagine yourself chained in these heavy shackles before Allah, and there is no way to get out of these shackles. These aren't the kind of shackles that people can escape from. No one can escape. And on that day, when you need to be able to quote something, I mean, you have to present something. What will you say? Just be silent completely? And all these opportunities came before you? You should be able to say it. Ya Allah, that one's around you, $2. Ya Allah. Even if it's big and small, but you should be able to say something. You should be able to continue to say, even if it was 2 pennies, at least it's for the name of Allah. If it's 2 pennies or if it's $2 million, it doesn't make a difference. The point is, it was given for the sake of Allah. So any opportunity, any time a box comes by, even if you have a penny, you should put it in there. You should close your eyes and you should think that I'm going to be unshackled on that day. And that I will have to stand before Allah, and I will have to remove those shackles. I will have to try to free myself, and I should have something to be able to present on that day. So that was the 4th thing that he commanded them. Then he commanded them for a 5th thing. And the 5th thing was the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said you should do excessive. In fact, in the word it comes kathira. In the hadith it comes kathira. Excessive dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said that the example of excessive dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like that enemy who just pursues you without a stop. Right? Relentlessly. He just continues to pursue you. And he said that you run, imagine that you have an enemy like that and you run into a fortress and you seek protection in that fortress from your enemy. That's what the dhikr is for each of you. That's what the dhikr is. It is this fortress by which you protect yourself against an enemy that does not rest. You know, I mean, in this world you meet certain enemies, right? You know that they have only certain abilities to pursue you. I mean, an enemy can only pursue you for a couple hours, you know, eventually he'll go someplace else. Right? Human beings are human beings, and they have to rest, they have to stop. Similarly, you know that he only has so much ability, maybe to some vehicle pursue you, he'll take your wallet and eventually he'll leave you alone. But this enemy is very unique. One, he doesn't stop. Everything in the world has an end. This one does not stop. From day that you come into this world, right? That's why you begin crying, because he takes you. All the way until the day you die, when you are sitting there, he will try to convince you to not say the kalima. This enemy will not let you go. And this enemy, not only does he pursue you, he assigns other people to pursue you as well, other shayateen. He has in fact, there's one group of shayateen that are designed to destroy relationships between husband and wife. One whole group of shayateen are assigned it, and every day, you know, shaitan, he also gathers his people together every night. Every night he gathers together the shayateen and he says to the shayateen, okay, what did you do? So each of them says, oh, you know, remember such Zayd? Oh, he used to pray 5 times? I made him miss his mother's prayer. Shaitan, he becomes very, very happy. And all the other shayateen become very happy. One of the shayateen, he says, oh, you remember Zayd and his wife, Layla? Well, I made them fight last night. Shaitan becomes so happy, he brings that shaitan right here. He brings him right next to him, and he becomes very pleased with that shaitan. So that is to him one of the most special type of acts which he likes in disobedience. So we should be very, very careful of an enemy that does not unite, and that has so many people that he can assign to get past the task that he needs to get done. The shaitan is a very, very powerful enemy. And the protection against shaitan is the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, I mean, you come here, you establish this dhikr once a week. Regularly, you need to continue to do it. But that's something that's continually doing dhikr. And the best adhkar are the ones that are also going to establish. So when the Prophet left his home, he said a particular dua that's a dhikr. Why? Because he's creating a shield around him. After Fajr, he read certain adhkar. After Maghrib, he read certain adhkar. When he would get on his mount, he would read certain adhkar. When he would descend from his mount, he would read certain adhkar. Before he would eat, after he would eat, when he would walk, when he would rise a high area to a high area, when he would go down to a low area. So many places in the hadith you find the Prophet creating fortresses around him. Now those fortresses are for us. Those fortresses are to teach us how to protect ourselves and how to attain the opportunity to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every way, shape, and form. What you find in hadith is basically any time the circumstance changed, the Prophet had a mind. If he's walking and there's a hill, he has a dua. Right? Something changed. If he's going downhill, he has a dua. If they stop and now it's time to rest, he has a dua. If it's time to wake up, he has a dua. If it's time for wudu, there's a dua. If it's time for the adhan, there's a dua. Every single change, like you see this turning of events. Anywhere there's a turn in the action of the Prophet ﷺ, automatically there's a new dua. You'll find that throughout hadith. And those dua are established for our protection. Those are what create that fortress around us. So if people feel that they really feel heavily the affliction of shaitan, the best way to fight that affliction is to be constantly remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one, the du'as that we read, and then number two, to continuously reflect on Allah. When you see a tree, when you see the sky, when you see the moon, when you see people, all of these are signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To be in continuous reflection of Allah. Now, when you look, then the Prophet he finished quoting the whole hadith. And after he quoted the whole hadith, in which he's quoting Yahya alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, so actually a very special hadith because you're getting the words of these prophets in that hadith. Then the Prophet said, I command you to 5 things. And he commanded, some of those 5 things included, number 1, sticking with the Jama'ah. Sticking with a group of people. Number 2, obeying. Number 2, listening. Number 3, obeying. And he commanded a couple other things. We won't go into them right now. But basically, when the prophets command their followers to do these things, they're commanding them with the utmost wisdom. The utmost wisdom. And that wisdom is something that is a treasure for all of us. Now these basic things that were commanded, they still apply to this day. That's why the Prophet shared them with us. Right? They existed at the time of Bani Israel, and we're not quoting from their books. The Prophet actually pulled this narration and connected it into our ummah. And so there's benefit in each of these things, in making sure that we're not associating anyone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our worship, in trying to establish the salah regularly and focusing during salah, in getting salat up, etc. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to be among those who fulfill these basic acts of worship, and to be among those who are doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continuously. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.